Hello, I'm your host, and these are 3 nightmare horror stories from Reddit. Let's begin. Story 1, The Woman in the Car. I was driving home late at night from a friend's house where we had been drinking. It was well after midnight, and the roads were empty. All of a sudden, I see this woman walking along the side of the road with her arms stretched out like she was hitching a ride. I didn't think much of it, so I kept driving. She continued walking and soon disappeared into the darkness. 5 minutes later, I see her again on the side of the road. Same position, arm outstretched. I stop to ask if she's okay, and she replies, "Great, can you give me a ride?" My first thought was that she was drunk, and I definitely wasn't sober enough to deal with a drunk hitchhiker. Not to mention how sketchy it was to pick up a random woman in the middle of nowhere at 1 a.m. So I just told her I couldn't help her and drove off. A few seconds later, she was back on the side of the road, and then something strange happened. She started running alongside my car, keeping pace with its speed. I kept glancing over at her, and she just kept staring straight ahead with this blank expression on her face. Her eyes were completely white. This went on for about 20 minutes, and then she just stopped running and disappeared into the trees on the side of the road. I sped up and got away from there as fast as I could. I reported it to the cops, but they never found her. They said it was probably just some crazy person who liked running and to forget about it. But to this day, I still remember the look on her face. Every time I close my eyes, I can still see those soulless white eyes. I have no idea what that was, but whatever it was, it scared the hell out of me. Maybe next time you should just keep driving. It's not like she was gonna get in your car. So why not just drive past her? You don't need to stop. You don't need to engage. You can just keep going. That being said, if she's on the side of the road and you pass by her twice, doesn't that mean you should turn around and go back? You know, because if she's standing there and you see her twice, chances are she's not going anywhere. Yeah, good point. Why would you just keep going? Story 2, Vanishing Hitchhiker. I used to do a lot of traveling, and one time I picked up a young woman who fit the typical hitchhiker description. Dirty, barefoot, long hair, big backpack, faded jeans, and a tank top. I took her about 100 miles to the nearest city, and we talked a bit about where she was headed and stuff. She said she was going to stay with a friend. I don't remember her exact words, but she gave me some reason why she didn't want her folks to know she was traveling. As we got closer to the city, she started telling me more and more personal details about herself and her life, which made me feel like she was trying to make a connection in case she ever needed to call on me for anything. She even called me by my first name, which is odd because I had no idea what her name was, and she never told me. By the time we got to the exit for her stop, we had been talking for about 4 hours. We said our goodbyes, and I saw her walk off down the road toward a cluster of apartments. She looked like she was heading in the right direction. I drove off feeling like I had just made a new friend and remembering all the details about her life. Then I started to panic. Where did she even get all that information about me? How did she know my name? I pulled over and took a deep breath and decided to head home. When I got there, I went straight to my computer and started Googling everything she had told me, looking for news reports, Facebook pages, anything that would tell me who this girl was. But I turned up nothing. I asked my friends if any of them knew someone matching her description, but they all said no. I don't want to sound like a total conspiracy theorist, but to this day, I think she may have been a hitcher, a demon or something. And I'm pretty sure she chose me for a very specific reason. I hope wherever she is now that she finds peace. If you're watching this, comment below and let us know what you think Op meant by hitcher. I believe the correct term is hitchhiker, but I don't think he means that. He means it's like a highway hitchhiker, but like a killer highway hitchhiker. You know what I mean? Like a truck stop killer? Is that too crude? Story 3, Wrong Turn. A friend and I were backpacking in the Beartooth Wilderness in the early 2000s. 3 days into the hike, we had only seen one other couple. On the third night at around 4 away, we were awoken in our tent to what sounded like screams in the forest. Big guttural screams. Obviously, we were freaked out sitting in the tent, not knowing what was out there. Then we started hearing what sounded like hail for about 10 minutes, followed by heavy footsteps near our camp. My friend and I started yelling and making tons of noise, and the commotion outside the tent slowly came to a halt. In the morning after, of course, not sleeping at all, we unzipped the tent to the creepiest scene. All around the tent were thousands of little pebbles that were not there the evening before. And surrounding the tent in a near-perfect circle were also 20 or so, 150 to 300-pound boulders. My friend and I no-peed out of there, practically running to our car. To this day, I have no idea how something like that could have happened. It is not like we were in an area prone to rock slides, and there were no signs of any sort of heavy machinery in the area. I showed the photos to a park ranger, and he said that he couldn't explain it. He suggested that perhaps a bear had knocked over the rocks. But even if that were the case, why would it surround the tent? And why would it bring pebbles from all around the area into a small pile around the tent? And why were the screams in the middle of the night? What was that noise? Was it a bear? Was it something else? I don't know. Whatever it was, I hope it stays out in the woods. Yeah, me too. Okay, I think this one might be a bear, but if it isn't, please don't come after me. Now it's time for bed. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, thanks for watching. Oh, and one more thing before I go. Don't forget to leave your feedback down below and follow me on social media if you dare. I've been your host, and this has been 3 nightmare horror stories from Reddit. Join me next time for more terrifying tales.